محمد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Let us recite Surah Al-Fatiha, Pillars of Islam. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين صراط المستقيم. قال الله جل وعلا في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Holy Quran in Surah Yasin verses 60 and 61: Did we not take an oath from you, O children of Adam, that you shall not serve Satan? He is your open enemy, and that you shall serve me. This is the straight path. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters in Islam and faith and in humanity. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Over the past week, we have been speaking about our lecture series topic, which is Shaitan and how he misguides mankind. We have been mentioning over this course past week, and we only have 1 week left till Ramadan is finished. And speaking about the tricks and the plots and the weapons that Shaitan uses out of his to try to come and to deceive us away from the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason why it is of vital importance that we gain attention and understand the tricks and the plots of Shaitan is so we can know how we can defend ourselves against our common and open enemy, in which Shaitan himself, he has mentioned in the Holy Quran, and he told us that he is our open enemy. And he came and he told us that he's going to come and destroy all of us, whether we or we are against him. So say for example, someone off the street, a stranger, comes to you and he wants to hurt you. For example, he comes to you, and you go talk to someone else. Why are you coming to me? Leave me alone. So Shaitan, he's coming, and this is what he's doing. He's telling us he is our open enemy. He's telling us, I'm your enemy. I'm going to mislead you. I'm going to trick you. And then not only that, in the Quran, he's telling us exactly what he's going to do. He's telling us how he's going to come and attack us. Let me give you an example. If someone wrote on a piece of paper, kick me, right? And he comes to you, in front of you, he wrote kick me, right? And he comes to you and he tells you, turn around. Let me put this piece of paper on your back. Would you let him do it? No. Because, that means that, you can see him, he's coming to you and he wants to trick you. He's telling you he's going to trick you. And if you're dumb and stupid enough to take that paper and put it on your back, then it's your fault. And you're stupid for accepting for him to put that paper. And the same thing with Shaitan. When he comes and he is telling us in the Quran that he is our open enemy. Shaitan is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shaitan is saying, I'm going to deceive you. And Allah is coming and he is confirming what Shaitan is going to come and to do. So Allah says in Surah Yasin, إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ مُبِينٌ. He is to you an open enemy. And if you want to be saved, if you want to be protected, then you follow God. That's why we pray to Allah and we say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim is like a prayer. It's a prayer to God so He can protect us from the attacks of shaitan. So we said that the first assault and weapon that shaitan used against the human being was what? Was envy. Envy and jealousy. Jealousy, that's what shaitan used. See, sometimes shaitan, he comes to us and he tries to create jealousy and envy, which is jealousy in Arabic means hasad. Like for example, he'll come, shaitan, and he'll whisper to you, because we said shaitan, he whispers to you. He invites you to do that bad thing. To go and to do that bad thing, he invites you, but he doesn't come and take you by the hand and force you. You know? So, say shaitan will come to you, he will come, for example, you brothers, right? Ali and Muhammad, for example. Shaitan will come to Ali and he'll tell him, you know, like for example, your parent, what do you play? PlayStation, Xbox, which one do you have? Both? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. You're living the dream, brother. MashaAllah. So you have both. Say your father, he gets you a PlayStation game, right? And then, but he got it for you and you have rights for it. You own the rights. It's copyrighted to you. And Muhammad wants to come in to play that game, right? You'll say, no, I don't feel like playing this game right now, and it's my choice. I play whenever I want, but I don't want to play right now. Muhammad says, no, I want to. So what happens? Muhammad will get jealous of you because you have that game and he can't play, and you're the only one that can play. So shaitan is the one that came and whispered to you and told you, you know, to do something like that. So that's what happened between Qabil and Habil, the sons of Prophet Adam. Shaitan came to Qabil and he infused in him, he put in him envy and jealousy. He told him, shaitan came to Qabil and he told him, haha, look at you, you know, God chose Habil to be the successor of, to be the leader after Prophet Adam, and he didn't choose you. You know, you're a loser. Look at you. You know, I mean, you're old, and you're the one that, you know, Adam should have chosen. He should have chose you, but he chose Habil. He chose Habil. He didn't choose you. So this is what happened, and then what happened? What happened was that you find that hasad and jealousy itself is not a sin. It's not haram to be jealous of a person. But what makes it haram is the way that it transforms itself. Like for example, if you're jealous of a person, what will you will insult that person, or you will hurt that person. Another thing you may do is backbite about that person. You'll talk about him behind his back. Or if you're jealous of a person, you might lie about that person. You make a lie about that person. And the worst way that this jealousy will transform itself is killing another person. You're so jealous of that person that you kill him. And this is what happened with Qabil, the eldest brother of Habil. He was his son. So what happened? He killed him. Qabil came and he killed him. He killed his younger brother. But what happened? You see that was the first crime that was committed against the human being. When Qabil came and he killed Habil, that was the first crime. And you find that when he killed him, he stood over his body. He was looking at him. He was looking at his body, and he was talking to him. He's like, Habil. He's like, wake up, bro. Wake up. You know, what are you doing? Laying down like that, you know, wake up. He didn't know what death was, because that's the first time someone dies. It's the first time. So he didn't know what death was. He didn't know that he died. When you die, that's it. You know, you don't come back alive unless you're watching a horror movie. Then you'll see that person come back alive. But other than that, you won't find that alive. So yeah, so he was laying down there. He was dead. He killed him. Habil was dead. He was laying down on the ground. So then Habil came. He's like, wake up, man, wake up. What are you doing? So then he didn't know what to do with the body. He didn't know how to bury it. So what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down two birds in front of him. These two birds got in a fight. You know, like how in the WWF, you know, one bird hit the other bird and jumped off the ring and flew, laid the smack down, you know, like The Rock, you know. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? No, it's not funny. It's okay, you don't have to laugh. Yeah, anyway, so God set down these two birds and they fought amongst each other. And what happened? One bird killed the other bird. And what did that bird do? He took some dirt and he threw it on the body of the other bird. So that's how Qabil learned what to do with his brother's body. He went and he took some dirt and he buried his brother. But you see that how low did Qabil have to go, that he had to learn from the animal how to bury his brother, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He came and He gave you a brain. He gave you a brain, and He gave you a better brain than the brain of a bird, or the brain of a frog, or the brain of an ant. And this is why Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, he says that you can be better than the angel, or you can be worse than an animal. Imam al-Sadiq, or sixth Imam, he says you can be better than the angel because God gave you a desire. He gave you a desire, and He gave you a brain, an intellect. And God came and He gave an animal only desire. He didn't give him a brain, a conscience, an intellect. The animal doesn't know what's right and wrong. For example, when a cheetah is hungry, it's not going to go think if I should go and kill the animal or not. Like, I feel sorry for the animal, you know, I'm not going to go and kill it. I'm going to think that I'm hungry and I have to feed my younger, you know, my kids, my children, so I have to kill that so I can come and eat. They don't think about the others. So, but when the Imam, he comes and he says that the human being can be worse than the animal. Why? Because God gave you a brain to think, and He gave you a desire. So you can be better than the angel if you use your brain and you control your desire. Or you can be worse than the animal if you don't use your brain and you only follow your desires. You don't control your desires. For example, you have people who unfortunately, the type of satisfaction that they gain, which is temporary, from doing these drugs. So they have that desire in them to use those drugs to satisfy them for a very small period of time. But if you come and you use your brain, you'll think to yourself that if I do these drugs, for example, if I drink, then I may die from the poison of the alcohol. And this is what happened to one person. He went to the bar and he drank and he became drunk, and the next day he didn't wake up. He died from the alcohol. So this is what the Imam is saying. Allah, He's saying that God created us and gave us a position higher than any other creation in the world. You are better than the angels. You are better than the jinns. You are better than the animals. You are better than anything in the universe. Anything that you see with your own eyes, Allah chose you as the leader, as the Khalifa, as His representative on earth. This is how much respect Allah has given to you. So when Qabil came and he learned from the animal how to bury his brother, that means that he didn't use his brain and he allowed his desire to control him, which was the characteristic and the attribute that shaitan infused in him, which was jealousy. And this is what shaitan does. He comes and he infuses these qualities in the human being, which is what? Which is jealousy. And he infuses, he puts these ideas, he installs these ideas. You know, like how you have apps on your phone, like iPhone or Android. How many people like here like Apple products? Any Android fans? We have some Androids here, alhamdulillah. So it's balanced, alhamdulillah. So we're not going to have World War III. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is what shaitan does. He comes and he tries to install his own app of whispers and insinuations into your heart, and he tries to play with your feelings. But what does Islam come and do? And this is Islam, it was the greatest shield against the shaitan. Allah comes and He shows us what the shaitan wants to come and hurt us with. So the first weapon and assault that shaitan used against mankind was hasad and jealousy. And we said that there's two kinds of looking at someone who is better than you. There's two different kinds. The first kind, when you see someone who is better than you, you aspire to be like him. You want to learn from them. How did they make it? For example, who wants to become a doctor here when they grow up? Go into medicine, mashallah, very good. So say for example you want to go into med school, right? You want to become a doctor. They tell you in any type of any career that you want to go into, you have to look up to someone. You have to come and you have to learn from that person. So you come and you choose someone who is better than you and more knowledgeable than you in that career that you want to go into. So you follow that person and you aspire to be like that person. And this is why Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salatu wassalam, when he comes, he says, he gives a very beautiful hadith narration. He's speaking about those who look up to people and want to aspire to be like them. And this is encouragement, and this is called ghibta. Ghibta means when you look at someone and you aspire to be like that person. So Imam Zayn al-Abidin, he comes and he says that Inna Ammi al-Abbas, my uncle Abbas, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, which was the son of Imam Ali, the brother of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, he says, my uncle Abbas, the prophets, they aspired to be like him. They wish they can be like him. The prophets, all the prophets, they aspire to be like Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Why? Because he was so brave, and he was so patient, and he carried all the qualities of a leader. And this is why they wanted to be like him. So this is the first reaction you may have if you see someone who is better than you. You want to aspire to be like that person. The second reaction you may have when looking at a person who is better than you is that you want to break that person down. You want to break them down, and you want to bring them down lower than you so you can be higher than them. And this is called jealousy, envy, and hasad. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. That one of the examples in history that we see is the example of Qabil and Habil. And that was the first weapon which Shaitan used against mankind, which was hasad and envy. Now we come to the second weapon and assault that Shaitan used against mankind. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came and He created that intellect and that reasoning. He gave you a brain, each and every one of you a brain. All right? And what will Shaitan come and do? He will come to you and he will tell you, listen bro, or listen sister, I know that you're intellectual and you're smart, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you with such an intellect, and you're a straight A student, and you're so smart, and you got the highest of scores on your MCATs, and you're going to go to med school. You got the highest scores on your LSATs, and you're going to go into law school. You're so intelligent, you're so smart, all of these good things. So you know that you are these things, and Shaitan, he will come and he will capitalize on these thoughts in your minds. But that's good to be all of these things. But what does Shaitan do? He comes and he tells you that you are all of these things, so you should use your brain. So he will come to you and he will tell you that since you have all of these brains and smarts and intellect, then you should use your brain. But when should you use your brain? This is where he comes. He tells you to use your brain in the face of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's where he comes. He comes and he tells you, yes, you should believe in Allah, that He is your creator, He is your sustainer, He is the God of the heavens and the earth. But when He comes and He commands you, then you should question Him. And a very famous story that you find in history is when Prophet Nuh, salamullahi alayhi, when he came and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to go to his people and to teach them about the concept of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find that from the time of Prophet Adam to the time of Prophet Nuh, there were 9 generations in between them. So the only concept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted the human being to know was to believe in one God. So what happened? That was in the time of Nabi Adam. He just wanted to teach his sons the concept of the oneness of God, to believe in one God. But you find that when it came 9 generations after, during the time of Prophet Nuh, no one believed in God anymore. Not only that, there was only one rule that God wanted the people to follow. There was a valley and there was a village. So Allah told the people, I don't want you to go into the valley. That was His command. But what did the people do? The people didn't listen. So for 900 years, Prophet Nuh, he came and he was trying to educate the people, talk to the people, tell them that this is the command of God. He doesn't want you to be here in the valley. He wants you to be This is where He wants you to be, so you should listen to Him. But for 900 years, the people didn't listen to Him. They ignored Him. So what did Prophet Nuh do? He went and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to condemn these people. For 900 years, he prayed, they didn't answer. So he said, oh Allah, please do something. So Allah said, okay, I'm going to send a storm to these people, but what I want you to do is I want you to build a ship. If you build this ship, you will be saved, because that ship will be the ship of salvation. So what does Nabi Nuh do? He comes and he starts building this ship. When he's building that ship, you have the people around him, surrounding him. They went to Prophet Nuh and they started to laugh and make fun of him. They said, man, look at you, man, you're so dumb, you're such an idiot. You've come here and you're building this ship. There's not even one sign of water. There's no lakes. There's nothing around here. What are you doing? You're such a dummy. You know, like, what are you doing? You're crazy. They're laughing at him. They're making fun of him. But this was the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened? That day came, the flood came, water started rising and getting higher, and certain parts of the area their area was getting flooded. And you find that Prophet Nuh's son, he decided not to listen to Nabi Nuh, to his father. What did he do? He came and he sat down, he took out a piece of paper and pencil, and he said calculations. He was looking at the size of the storm, and he was looking at the size of the ship. He came and he said, the size of the storm is much larger than that ship. That ship isn't going to save me. So let me find a higher ground, and that is what is going to save me. So he seen a mountain, and he said that mountain is going to save me. So he goes on top of that mountain, and he stands on that mountain, and he waits the flood. He's looking at the flood to see, what's going to happen. But you find here, brothers and sisters, what's the point? The point is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and He commands the human being to do something, He wants to guarantee your success if you follow Him. So when the son of Prophet Nuh went on top of that mountain, maybe that mountain he wasn't going to drown that mountain. But because he went up there, he wants to teach him a lesson. That if I chose for that ship, even though it's so small, to be a ship of salvation, then you better be on that ship. It doesn't matter how big or how small or how many people are in this gathering. For example, there's say there's 50 people in this gathering we have here. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this mosque to be of salvation, then you better be on this ship. Because if you're not in this ship, you will drown. So this was the command of Allah, that He wanted to show me and you that even though that ship was so small, but He chose for that ship to be a ship of salvation. And what happened? Was the son of Prophet Nuh saved, or did he drown? What happened to him? Did he take out his surfboard and he was riding the waves? Was he swimming? What was he doing? Was he floating, doing some backstrokes? What did he do? He drowned, right? Yeah, he drowned. Because, Prophet Nuh, he cared about his son and he loved his son. But what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him? He told him, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ وِلْدِكَ. He's not of your sons. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us that when He commands us, we shouldn't use our brain and our intellect in the face of His command. For example, when you fast in the holy month of Ramadan, you fast for 30 days, and say the Eid came. That next day the Eid came. right? If you want to come and fast on the day of Eid, can you fast? If you felt like it. You just felt like it, You felt something, Right? You can't fast. Why? Even though, you feel like it. It feels right. The idea is logical because you've been fasting for 30 days and you develop that habit for fasting for 30 days. What's the problem with fasting one more day? What's the problem? What's the big deal? The big deal is that it's Allah's command. He told us not to fast on the day of Eid. So what is Allah coming? He's coming and He's teaching us one thing. What is He teaching us? He's teaching us that He does not want us to be the slave of our brains, the slave of ourselves. He wants to come and teach us to be the slave of Him, to be His slave, not to be our own slaves. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So that's what happened. Nabi Nuh's son, he came and he listened to his own brain, and this is what happened to him. He followed the command of himself, and he was doomed. Another example is when, for example, you go through the stages of going from childhood into adulthood, whether you are a man or whether you are a woman. So say, for example, for the man, for the child, for the boy, for example, signs and those stages of adulthood before the age of 15, then it becomes wajib on him to fast and to pray and to go to the Hajj and to do all of these things. And if he doesn't see those signs, then, and according to the lunar calendar, when you become 15, it becomes wajib for you to perform those wajibat. And the same thing goes for the woman. When they see those signs, they become an adult, and it becomes wajib for them to fast and to go to the Hajj and to do all of these things. But my question to you is, what happened in one day that the day before you did not have to perform any of the wajibat? You did not have to fast, you did not have to pray, you did not have to go to the Hajj, you don't have to do any of these things. But when that time came, the next day, all the wajibat has become a burden on you. Now you have to perform all these wajibat. Is it logical? Does it make sense that for you, in your own mind, in your own brain, that the day before you don't have to do any wajibat, the next day you have to do all the wajibat? So this is an example of a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to do something, we should listen to Him and not use our intellect. And inshallah, the next couple of nights, we're going to conclude our lecture series topic. We only have like 6 days left to Ramadan. And we're going to talk about the rest of shaitans, give more examples of how he tries to come and to misguide us. And like I said, I've been speaking about, for the past week, about shaitan. We've been tearing shaitan apart. We've been ripping him apart. We've been tearing him up, right? He hates you so much now. He hates my guts. Because I'm exposing him. I'm putting him there out in the open. I made a YouTube video about like 6 months ago in December about him, and I made fun of him so bad. I called him a loser. I called him the biggest loser, and I called him homeless and jobless. And I told him, you're a bum. You're homeless and you're jobless. So he really hates my guts. Anyways, I don't really care about him. But yeah, so we're going to finish talking about the weapons. The first weapon is jealousy. Second weapon is to use your intellect in the face of His command, the command of Allah. But the question comes up, which is, okay, fine. I'm not going to use my brain and my intellect in the face of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not going to do it. But when do I use my brain? When do I use it? And we're going to come and we're going to talk about that. Inshallah, next couple of days, we're going to talk about when we should use our brain and our intellect. Because God gave it to us. This is the greatest creation and invention that Allah created for the human being. How many of you have been here to St. Louis? Raise your hand. St. Louis, Missouri. No? You do a road trip and get out of Dearborn, right? We to go, not Cedar Point. Everyone goes to Cedar Point. No, I'll take you to St. Louis. Before I came here, the first 2 weeks of Ramadan, I was speaking in St. Louis, in a center over there called Zainabiya in St. Louis. So one of the brothers there, he took me on a tour in St. Louis. He took me to this Union Station. It was a train station, and they transformed it into a 5-star hotel, Hilton Hotel. So he took me there. He showed me that. Then he took me to one of the famous sites in the U.S. called it's known as the Gateway to the West. Do you know what that is? The Gateway to the West? No one? No? La hawla. It's saddening. It's very saddening. Yeah, it hurts. So this Gateway to the West is called the Ark. St. Louis Ark. It's a huge ark. I'm sure you've seen it. Seen a picture of it. No? Not even a picture? La hawla la quwwata illa billah. How can I bring it? Imagination. But when you go home or on your phone, Google the Ark. St. Louis Ark. And you'll see it. The whole idea of that ark, you'll find that the one who engineered it, who created that image in his mind and he brought it to life, this was in 1963. From 1963 to 1965, he engineered it and he put this idea, he put it on a blueprint, and he brought it to life. They say it's 630 feet from ground. 630 feet. And it's an ark, nothing really special. But you find that they built this structure when? In 1963. And now we're in 2015. So imagine the technology that was used in 1963 compared to now. There's no comparison, right? But look what he did. A structure like no other in the world. And he engineered this by himself with barely any technology. And what did he use to create this magnificent structure? What tool? There's one tool that's greater than any form of technology. What is it? Technology? No, it's a part of him. It's like an organ, a part of him, like part of his soul, his brain. Asanti, yeah. But of course, if it wasn't for Allah giving him that idea, just to help you out a little bit, yeah. If it wasn't for Him giving him that idea, then he wouldn't have been able to come up with the idea. But yeah, you find that, what did he use? What tool did he use? A'alush? What tool did he use? His brain, mashallah. You look like you're not paying attention, but every time I ask you a question, you hit the spot, mashallah. Very good. Give him a loud salawat. Allahumma salli. It's okay, you can pop your collar, Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so he used his brain and his intellect. What am I trying to get here? I'm trying to get to this point that one person engineered, he came up with this idea, and he used the greatest tool that was given to him, which was his brain and his intellect. And he was able to create one of the most interesting and magnificent steel structures in the world by using his brain only. If you go, inshallah, if we ever have a chance, when we have the youth group here, we'll go on a road trip or we'll fly to St. Louis. I'll take you there, and I want to show you the St. Louis Ark and how tall it is. You know, it's 630 feet, and it's like this. It's like a bow type of structure. I'm horrible in describing it, I know, but when you go there, you'll find that the has two legs. You can actually go inside. There's like a small elevator, two small elevators, one of the north terminal and one of the south terminal, and they're inside the legs, and it's all closed. But when you look at it from the outside, like my tour guide, one of the brothers, he took me on the tour. He told me, I'm gonna take you all the way up there, inside. I look at it, it's like two legs and they're steel structures and they're closed. There's no windows or anything like that. I'm like, man, I'm gonna die in there if I go there. Man, I don't want to die there. It's all closed. Who's gonna come and save me? You know, I still want to live. I love my life. What is this? I want to go to Dearborn and have a chicken sub ananas, man. I don't want to die. So, you know, I'm like, no, I'm not going up there. He's like, you know, one time, he's like, I took a person up there, and, you know, he wanted to faint. 630 feet, and there's like few windows in there. So I was scared, you know. I didn't want to go up there. But then, when I go inside, you go inside, underground, and it's so beautiful inside. There's a store in there, and there's air conditioning, and there's an elevator. It's like a small ball elevator. I don't know how to explain it. I'm horrible, I know, but bear with me. It's like a ball, and you sit in there, like 5 people can sit in there, and it climbs up like this, like a caterpillar. Yeah. So anyways, so you go up there, that's how you go up there, and then you finally reach up there. But he told me this. He told me that sometimes when you're up there, you can feel the wind blowing the structure. Like, la hawla la quwwata illa billah. I mean, it's blowing, you know, you know. So anyways, I said, okay, let me go and check it out. So I go with him, and he takes me up there, alhamdulillah. We take some pictures, and I'm still alive, I'm still breathing, I'm standing in front of you. But the point of this whole story is that the capability that each and every one of you have, which is that brain of yours, that intellect of yours, that conscience of yours, that was given to you by Allah, in which that you know what is right and what is wrong. And this wasn't given to the animal. So my point here is that if that human being could create and engineer such a structure, then you can do anything. Nothing is impossible for you. Whatever comes to your mind that is good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the ability to make that happen. Any dreams that you have, anything that you want to achieve in your life, you can do it. You can do it. And Allah is going to be there to help you accomplish that thing. Whether you want to become a lawyer, you want to become a doctor, or you want to become a sheikh, or you want to become a race car driver, or a basketball player, or football player, or I don't know, what else? You want to give me one? Any career. Thank you. Thank you for saving me, because the caffeine still hasn't kicked in. I don't know why. Yeah, so anything that you want to go into, Allah will help you to go into that career, inshallah. So this is the month to do it, to renew that commitment with our 12th Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif, and to renew your commitment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to really ask Allah from the bottom of your heart. Ask Him sincerely, whatever it is that you want, and inshallah, you will get it. And work hard. Work hard. Strive and eliminate all obstacles out of your way. And be patient and be the best that you can be. Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he say? He says, be bold in everything that you do. Be bold. Do it with confidence. Do it like you mean it. And show it through your actions. They say, if you talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk too. And actions speak louder than words. So show people that show yourself. Focus on yourself. And focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I conclude with that, brothers and sisters. And before we conclude the program, I'd like to open the floor to questions. Anyone have any questions? Yes. Of course. Inshallah, they have those jumping things. What is it? Not jumping things, what am I saying? What did they call it? Huh? The inflatable thing that you go and you jump in? Bounce house. Ahsant, yeah. I didn't say I'm going to go in, but maybe inshallah they have it, yeah. Yeah, I'll be here inshallah for Eid. Oh, that was a difficult question, brother. Any other questions? No questions? No? Make up a question. Just so I can feel good. No questions? Okay then. Alhamdulillah, we understood our subject. Tomorrow we'll continue our subject about shaitan and how he misguides. And we'll continue about the second weapon that he used. And we'll give more examples. And then we'll conclude our topic. And you will see that the main enemy is not shaitan. The main enemy that we've been speaking about this whole time. Shaitan is this, and he comes to us, and he tries to trick us and deceive us and do all these bad things to us. At the end, what's going to happen? He's not the real enemy. There's another one. And he's the main one. So we're going to discover who that one is, inshallah, next few days. And I conclude with that. And let us not forget the founding fathers of this great Islamic center. Without him, we wouldn't have this great Islamic center. Al-Imam Jawad Sharri and the board members and their deceased and your deceased and all the martyrs of Islam, and for the protection of our maraja around the world, and for the blessings of all of you who have come and gathered here. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant all your wishes and fulfill all of your desires, and to answer all of your prayers, and to accept from us, and to give us the strength and the ability to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to become of the helpers of the Imam when he returns. And with that, let us recite 3 loud salawats, and before that, let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha, and before that 3 loud salawats ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.